so that's...
Just down back.
Yeah. Call the meeting to order. Roll call, fellas.
Ken Meyer.
Here.
Bill Carlock is absent. Judge Fuller.
Here. Okay. Minutes of the March 3rd meeting were emailed. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
At the last meeting, I don't think we officially adopted it or accepted it. That in Warren that Dan brought up, it's the mutual aid between all these different cities.
Oh, yeah.
Within the city.
Yeah.
I think Tim did review that and gave it back to him, but we never did officially give Dan permission to do it. So
Make a motion that if Tim's approval, we accept that.
Yep. Second, it's passed. Thank you. Yeah. Really, I'd like to kind of wait here. Was Roger coming back, Tim, do you know? Talk about those fees?
Don't know. I don't know if he was coming back for the Board of Works, but I think he was going to be here for the council.
Let's just wait a few minutes. So these guys get caught up, then we can discuss some other items here. What do you got here? Oh, well, yeah.
That was Jeremy's email.
On the bids?
That accept all bids.
Yeah, I would recommend that we accept all the bids and use the contractors as desired, so it gives him some flexibility too.
So the motion you just made?
I made that motion.
I second it.
Good. Just so you know.
Wait.
I knew you had surgery.
I don't think that's Republican. Yeah, I don't think he was.
Okay, hey guys, when you get done, then put on it.
Well, we got a little stash.
Yeah, they've got a huge stack.
Why do you have so many bills, Phil?
I don't know. A lot of bills.
One thing we should talk about real quick is the lights on 7th Street. We probably should have Jeremy's input, but I don't know why we have to get a consultant involved. We can pick out some decorative lights and, determine how many we want and put them up.
Well, I don't think it's a matter of that. I think whatever they choose downtown, they want to be consistent out
Consistent
there.
with that out
Right.
there.
I think is the issue.
Makes
So that's
sense.
why Tony's involved, Tony Murray from Martin Riley.
Right.
I saw him this morning.
He was at, they had a, of course you went, didn't you? You went to the Main Street meeting this morning?
He said he told me that I need to get with Jeremy, but I don't know.
Oh, okay.
We didn't talk about lighting, we talked about street signs.
Okay. After this morning, he had talked to him.
I'll get a hold of Tony and maybe see what they're going to do downtown, then we can match up with that on 7th Street, the lights.
Your Dejan retired
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Friday.
Kathy.
Gave him some kind of a package, and he Took it.
Dejan did?
Mhm.
Dave's done in January,
Is it?
unless they give him a sweeter deal.
Like 40 years with Embark, or whatever it was, United Telephone, Embark, CenturyLink.
Yeah, that's,
United, it was United.
it was, yeah, it was
Embark.
United, and then it was
Was it something in between?
Sprint,
Sprint.
Right,
Yeah.
and it was, okay, United, Sprint, CenturyLink, and
Citizens.
Citizens, yeah.
Well, that's where you first worked, wasn't it, when you got out of school?
I was told that the Paul, I guess, has went out to Richard's Restaurant in Hawaii. That's where he started, that's where he first worked when he was in high
Who?
school.
Paul?
Paul. Now he wants to work out there a couple of mornings, just do something.
And when I was at Purdue, I cooked breakfast over at the Student Union, and I don't know that I'd go back and do that again.
I could see
I
more
think they closed the
mowing to
student
go
union
for.
down after you got done.
No, I was actually a pretty good cook. But it's just getting up at 4:30 in the morning, and be over there at 5 and cook till 7:30 or 8 o'clock,
And then I'd go to classes.
and then go to class. But it was, I needed a job, so do what you do. But I was gradually able to move up the pay scale ladder by switching. I eventually got a job at the Forestry Horticulture Library for a semester.
You're probably able to sit and study there, huh?
I could study, and yeah, I was able to get some studying done there. And then
Ken, there's no doubt in my mind that you studied too. You didn't
I
screw
did.
up.
I did. But the best job, and it was the highest paying job on campus, was painting married student housing. And when I saw that opening,
So I got experience in
it
those
was
folks.
it paid $2.15 an hour,
Whoa.
and that was a 35-cent jump from what I was getting paid at the Forestry Horticulture Library. I thought I was on cloud nine.
I remember when I got married, I was going to Ball State, and I was in married student apartments. It's a 2-bedroom apartment. All utilities paid. $135 a month.
We paid.
It wasn't a bad place.
I think we paid $125 a month in married student housing the year that we stayed there at Purdue. So, but it was, our budget for the month was like
The
100.
utility bill's $125.
Yeah, we lived on I think it was $160
It
budget.
gets worse, Matt.
I know.
I tell you, wait till your kids start taking half-hour showers, then.
Our
Got that to look forward to, doesn't he?
big treat was at the end of the month, if we had enough
Boys,
money,
my
we
son
went
was
over and got a
worse than the girl.
pizza.
Really?
Yeah. He was horrible. I'd get in there and take a shower, I always have cold water. It was nice this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of sad for me because that's my last time I get to go.
Well,
They have a green eggs and ham at St. Joe for the kindergarten kids. That's really kind of neat. They put on a nice program.
Joni's fanning dresses up.
Yeah.
She's a real animated.
Cat in a Hat. Yeah, really good.
That is cute. How long have you been doing it?
Oh, I do it with all my kids.
Wild.
Even your
Yeah,
kids?
my grandkids,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
okay.
Yeah. I don't care about my kids. Is this being recorded?
Yeah.
When are we?
Well, hey, real quick, Tim, have you got information on the old city hall? Do we have, there was a question on the
Been
title?
advertised.
Okay.
Um,
But you had the title that you were researching and something wasn't falling into place, correct?
We were able to construct a legal description, which is what was advertised. It's
Got that real long?
Really great big one.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's the best we could do under the circumstances for now, so.
So give us some guidance on what we need to do next.
The bid period,
Second one of these.
I think starts here pretty soon, isn't it like the 23rd or something?
Second, I think.
So bid,
What's the,
Yeah.
Phyllis, you got the,
Got the legal.
she has the legal.
oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
May 25th, or March 26th through May
26th,
25th.
okay. So,
Starts when?
starting March
March
26th.
March 26th.
Yeah, so if somebody came in the first day, March 26th, and offered a bid that we were willing to accept, we could accept the bid, close the bid period, move forward to enter into a purchase agreement that would incorporate the terms that we laid out.
They
And
have to
then you-
offer 90% of that.
Yeah, now, let's say somebody comes in and offers 90% the first day. Well, you don't necessarily have to take that, and you may want to wait to see if somebody offers 100% or higher. So you can keep that bid period open as long as you wish, but if you get a bid that you're willing to accept, then you can immediately accept
May
it,
26th.
and that terminates it. Now, if somebody submits a bid, and then somebody comes in with a higher bid, before you accept that, you have to give notice to anybody that has submitted a bid in case they want to up theirs.
Yeah.
So, starting March 26th through May 26th.
Yes.
We're accepting
Yes.
bids on,
At the end of, at May 26th, if you have not received an acceptable bid, or any bids,
Tuesday.
okay, then at that point, you have the ability to do a couple of things. You can
Well, let's
then,
just worry about that when we get there.
Actually, we've got times on these. It's March 26th at 9 a.m. through May 26th till 3.
yeah, and you can either, at that time, either list it through a broker, or you can auction it.
3 p.m., right? Okay. Okay, I guess we put the legal notice in, but we should probably say something publicly about
Yeah,
that.
I've got,
Yeah,
you're going to
you're gonna make that a matter of record.
Good,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I got that down, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Legal notice, sell at City Hall. Yeah, got it. Okay. Is anybody, we have 2 appraisals. Tim, I think I gave the Phyllis, did I?
Yes, you
Because I
did.
don't have
Yeah,
it.
those,
I have it.
the appraisals have to be kept
I
at City Hall, and they have to be available
Remember
for
off the top of your
inspection.
head?
So,
I thought one was...
60-something, weren't they?
The average of the 2, 60?
You have to go back in a minute, sorry.
if you go back to last
Yeah, yeah.
meeting, if you have the minutes of last meeting, I think
The
they're in
last
there.
meeting?
Yeah. I thought it was in there.
Is that Board of Works or
Yeah.
Board of Works?
Wasn't it 64, 64.5, I think was the average, wasn't it? Something like that.
So the
When
lowest
was the
we could
meeting
accept
before,
would be
huh?
58.
February?
What's that?
90% 64 is 58.
Roughly, yeah.
They didn't, I think here we have the appraisals of the Schaefer.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, uh-huh.
I think City Hall ones were...
I wish I were there.
Or did we bring it
Here
out
we
of
go,
town?
here we go. No, that's not it.
We need a little laptop.
Yeah. Here we go. Say City Hall building appraisals versus TP, blah, 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 blah. 53,000 and 75,000.
Thank you.
53 and 75, average
Mhm.
64. So
Right.
Gosh, that's a big variance, 53,
Yeah.
75.
I thought so, too.
Yeah, it depends on the comps that they use,
Yeah.
so,
So 64 is the average, right?
yeah.
Probably 64 and change, I suppose.
Then 90% of that, $6,400.
And I,
90% of $57,600.
one thing I will bring up, it's not,
63.5.
I was going to wait till Nate was here, but I happened to talk to Steve and Pat Lytle,
Uh-huh.
and they, at some point, are probably going to sell their property. And, you know, if we would need that property for the sewer,
Storage
Uh-huh.
tank by the blue tank.
I said
We might
something
have
to him, and he
a
said
second
they would be interested. In fact, they said, you know, if the city's interested in buying it now and maybe leasing it back to them for a couple of years, they could do that, or give the city, they said they'd like to work with the city.
one. Good. That's good to know.
So, you know, it's kind of like, at this point, I don't know if you're prepared to express an interest to get a couple of appraisals, or if you want to wait and do that. But in long term, that may be a property that you want to consider acquiring for, because if we're looking
Sewer
at
project.
down the road having to add additional storage capacity where we currently have the tank, you're almost going to need that property. So,
But they're going to put secondary tank on the north side of the current one.
On the north side of the current one, not to the west, I think.
Yeah.
Where Lytle's is, basically.
yeah, it's Lytle's and maybe even a
Maybe
couple
the
of
next
properties,
one,
right?
the next one to the north of Lytle.
So,
Okay.
I told him I'd bring that up and
Yeah.
let you know that, so.
So City Hall, so I guess we can accept bids sometime after March 26th, and it ends on May 26th, so for 2 months, so
Right.
I guess as we proceed, we'll just keep you informed of what
Yeah.
goes on, and
Statutorily, you have to keep the bid period open a minimum of 60 days.
Okay.
So that's what you've done.
okay.
But, as I said,
take a job.
If we get any proposals, I'll email everybody that way, but you can't make a
you
decision.
cannot make a
But you
decision.
can review the information.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go on then. Schaefer Building. Nothing has transpired since since the last meeting, I should say. What happened was, we were going to get together with him this week, the realtor, and he went on vacation Wednesday, so he couldn't get with us. He went on vacation. Tim is leaving Friday, so he's going to be gone next week, so we lost this week and next week. So the following week, we'll meet with that realtor and let him know. So maybe we can report something back at the first meeting in April. So. We talked briefly about the lights on 7th Street. I'll get a hold of Tony and see if we can move that along and see what they're wanting to do downtown and kind of match something so we can get those lights on 7th Street, so if that's okay with everybody. Sidewalks.
Took a long walk one day last week, and I walked Winchester Street. It's bad. It's bad.
Jeremy got some prices here for everybody here that we can kind of look at what things are costing.
So's Adams.
Okay, so we have, we have how much in our seated fund for sidewalks? Was it $45,000 that we put in there
Each year.
for 2015, right? Okay. Last year, we had 45,000 in there, and we only spent a minimal amount, 13,000 something, I think. So there's 31,000 left over from last year, plus if you want to designate 40,000 for this year, you know.
40 or 45?
Well, we have 45 available. I would recommend we leave some in there in case people do want to put some sidewalks in. So we have 31,000, let's say, we have $70,000 we have available. And that's just our sidewalk fund. Maybe if we're nice to Phyllis, she can find some other fund.
Okay.
But anyhow, what's our priority, I guess, is the main thing, you know.
Well, where did Jeremy want to resurface?
He wanted to do Winchester Street. He wanted to resurface. Now, I don't know if we have enough money to go all the way from 5 Points to Line Street. I don't know if we have that much money, but,
Wow, it needs it done.
But the sidewalks need to be done before the street gets done. So
Yeah,
so
it makes it
Winchester
work
Street's a
there.
priority.
I think so.
Jeremy said ideally 5 Points to Line, sidewalks and paving, and then Adams Street to 7th, if I remember.
Adam Street,
From
That's-
second,
from 7th,
second to 7th.
No,
No.
Seventh Street from Adams to Monroe. That was,
yeah, I thought that was the next priority, yeah.
maybe I can...
Adams,
From, no, 7th Street from Adams, from the police station, or fire station, police station, all the way
To Monroe.
To Monroe.
not on Adams Street.
Not on Adams, not this year, I think.
Okay.
He was thinking that might be next year.
Okay.
So, if you have 32,000 on Winchester Street, okay, Elm, so that's in front of Legion Park.
Mhm.
Well, he, you know
Across
what?
the street.
Sorry, he did add an Adams Street here. Adams
Yeah, he
Street-
did Adams at the
Sure.
bottom, yeah.
But it's got all the way 13th, the 2nd, the entire thing.
This is the one that you see sidewalks?
Yeah, sidewalks only, yeah.
They're not as bad as Winchester Street, but they're not good.
You know, Adams Street's not, especially the
I guess my
south side.
feeling would be that your priority would be, I think you could say yes to 7th Street. And then Winchester, well, I guess I'm thinking more from the stellar plan, but if you're gonna repave it, you kinda gotta do the entire sidewalk, don't you?
Yeah, Winchester's part of the Greenway Trail.
From, to Legion, right?
Yeah. I think that's why he broke it down that way.
So maybe from the funds that we have on hand, you could, theoretically, you could do from 5 Points to Legion and do 7th Street. If we wanted to focus on the rest of Winchester, then you'd have to come up with another, I can't even do that, $60,000.
You're going from, what you're saying is from 5 Points to Elm Street, so that's 32,000. And then 7th Street is another 64, so you got 68, yeah, you got $69,000, just about what we have available.
So,
I'm
not following.
I'm not following you either.
Okay, excuse me. The first, number 1,
Yep.
is Winchester Street to Elm,
Right.
okay? That goes in front of Adams County Truck Repair, okay? So that gets us past Legion Park, okay?
Okay.
Now we're gonna go all the way to 5 Points with that $32,494.
That would take us down to where the old railroad tracks used
Right,
to be.
the old tracks used to be.
Both sides of the street would then be
Both
completed.
sides.
that one is a stellar project. At the completion of the Greenway Trail,
Mhm.
which we kind of broke out,
Mhm.
that's just being able to handle that in-house. So if you do that first portion of Winchester, you've completed that.
The part from on the east side of the street.
Well, I think Jeremy's gonna do both sides.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
But the east side would be a white.
Wider,
Yeah.
right, that's exactly right. Be 8 foot wide, I believe, and then the other side was 5. Okay.
Now, when they get the 5 Points, is there, well, I guess that's all.
He's stopping short at Elm because of future,
Because I don't know yet what's going to happen at the 5 Point
he
intersection.
didn't want to do anything and have to tear it up.
He's stopping
Right.
short of 5 Points. maybe a half a block or a couple of houses or something. Two houses back, almost to that church then, to that church. Uh-huh. Okay, so that takes $32,000, okay?
That's why we're not.
And then what Cam's saying is you go down to the second number one, at 7th Street, Jefferson to Railroad.
Right.
7th Street from Jefferson
This one right here.
to the railroad, yeah.
I don't know what he's talking about.
What railroad are you
there.
talking about?
Yeah, I don't think, I think he's talking from 7th Street to the railroad on Jefferson, okay?
One would agree, that's perfect.
It's that short section right by the fire station.
Okay.
To the north side of the fire station. Okay, he's gonna put a sidewalk there.
And then Jefferson,
Then from Jefferson to
To
Monroe
Monroe.
and Adams to Jefferson. That's where you got another 34,000. So if you added
32 and 34.
32, 34, you know, that's 66, 67,000. There's your 70,000. That's the priority.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, if you had another 60,000, then you could take Winchester all the way,
Out.
well, yeah, all the way out to Line.
But we don't have another 60.
Well,
Or do we?
South side of Adams Street. I think it's the-
we could use other funds. Yeah, it's not fair to tell us, she just gets this, and I tell her that, so,
South side of the street.
South side.
Yeah, and that where would be basically the...
I think the north side was where they were talking about the
Oh, was it?
trail.
Okay, well, whichever side the
Yeah.
trailhead would be considered of Adams from 5 Points to 7th, I think that would be our number 3, personally.
Cam, on 7th Street, what's our priority there?
On Adams.
On Adams,
Or Adams?
from 5 Points to 7th Street.
Which side of the
The
road
north
was
side or
it?
south side
Last
of the
year when we
sidewalk?
had that in the Stellar, was it on the north side?
North side.
That's what I thought
Okay.
too.
Because the south side's actually pretty,
No, it's not.
I was gonna say, no, it's not. I don't
It's
think
not?
so either.
No.
You know, again, we drive by it all the time and don't pay attention, you know,
not.
it's not very good.
The sidewalk's not
No,
bad
it
till
isn't.
about 4th Street. but
I
4th
think when I walked it, I walked in the
Terrible.
street most of the way because the sidewalks were walking on.
Okay. Well, anyhow, I think we could probably commit to the 32,000, the first 32,000, you see it, and you go down to the 34,000 for 7th Street. I think that's the priority.
So these two.
I
Right
think
there.
that's what was mentioned.
Then see where our money is.
Yeah, and then give Phyllis a little opportunity to find us $100,000, you know?
I mean, because really, oh, you're talking about for doing Adams as well?
Yeah. Well, you know, and he's gone, Adams Street.
How critical
2nd
is-
Street to 13th, that's quite a way.
Yeah, and then, really what's critical is from Adams to 7th for now.
Right. And we could get, in the meantime, we could probably get another updated price for Adams
But
Street.
the sidewalks get worse from 7th out to
Oh,
13th.
they do.
They're
Between 7th Street and 8th Street, they're horrible.
But I guess, I mean, is he prepared to pave that road all this
Oh,
year?
yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, because can we...
You don't have to.
Yeah.
No, he's got many issues.
Well, no. but what I'm saying-
Winchester, Adams Street fellas.
Well, the other thing that may enter into that a little bit is I noticed where the school was talking about what to do with Worthman
Worthman
Field.
Field.
Mm-hmm.
I was
You
very
know-
surprised that people didn't know that the school owned that.
Mr. Lehman is rightful, they're right to say, why, liability.
Exactly,
What are they
yeah.
for?
And that's a discussion we'll need to have. Are we interested in Worthman's Field?
If we are, the question is, what do we do with it?
Well, right now we're using the safety park has been very good. They do have some baseball leagues that do utilize it.
And soccer leagues on Saturdays.
Soccer leagues on Saturdays, yeah. Well,
Is that something the park board
Yeah, I
has
think the
talked
park
about?
board needs to discuss it and then come back with a recommendation.
We're very interested in, trying to secure that. Jeremy, I'm going to talk with Brent Lane again to tell him, that we are interested. However, we wanted to be able to sit down and talk with the schools because of the towers.
Mhm.
I wouldn't want to accept the property with the towers there because they are in pretty bad shape. And when I was on the school board and we talked to the county about getting the old annex building, we had bids to remove asbestos. It was going to be $100,000. We voted to give the county the building plus $100,000 to take care of the asbestos, which I thought was a really good deal, you know, for the school, because if we were to tear it down, it's going to
Sure.
cost us $350,000.
Exactly.
And the county's made it into a good, solid building. So we thought if we talked to the school, there'd be a possibility of seeing if they would have some funds or if they could rent their own way to help remove the towers.
I think there's either 2 or 4 towers that don't even use. They don't even use the lights on those
One
towers.
on I guess it'd be the north side of the field, they don't use those at all.
Yeah. So there are some towers that aren't being used, so.
But
And then they put new lights on, and they only went up like 3/4 of the way. They didn't even, they're not going up all the way to the top, so the towers could possibly be lowered. So, and I don't know if that's possible, but.
yeah, somebody wanted to sell a house on Adams Street, and when they checked into getting insurance on it, they couldn't get insurance because the insurance company was afraid that one of those towers would fall along Adams.
Okay. Well, I guess I would recommend that we allow the Parks Department to talk with the school, see what they want to do, and we come up with a plan, and then we support whatever the Parks Department wants to do.
Well, what I told Brent, one thing that they have to check to see if there's something in the deeds saying that's had enough in the park.
Right, it has to remain a park.
A restriction.
Uh-huh,
For
yeah,
that usage.
yeah, yeah.
They're starting to check on that.
Yeah, good, good. So, I think it's something we should at least look at. So, if the school's seriously wanting to get rid of it and they don't need it, which I understand why they don't, but, we'll just have the Parks Department be our arm out there looking at it. Okay? Well, if you do that, I appreciate it.
You know, they...
Back to sidewalks now.
$500,000 to renovate.
Do we want to commit to 7th Street and part of Winchester anyhow?
John, if we're reading this thing right, the way he has that 7th Street, Jefferson to Railroad at 5,000, how critical is that at this time?
Oh, it's probably not real critical.
Well, you can get back another 5 and put it. Could we put it to better use on Adams or somewhere else? Just throwing that out.
I'm not sure.
90,
That's what I mean.
81,
I think on Jefferson, between
7th and the
and the
railroad.
railroad track, I guess.
Half block.
Oh,
That's right.
okay.
That's right.
Okay, and that's where he's talking
Yeah.
about.
I'm assuming both sides of the street. I'm not sure.
I mean, once you cross the railroad tracks, once you cross the railroad tracks on Jefferson, are there sidewalks there? Do you know, Mary?
There's gravel,
There's no,
I don't think there's...
They're there.
but there are no sidewalks from 7th to the railroad tracks on Jefferson?
Yeah, well, I think there is in the fire department
We
parking
need
lot.
$60,000, so.
There's north side, but
We
on
need
that
$60,000.
south side, no.
Okay.
You found it?
Yeah, Mayor's
Okay,
Fund.
I would recommend that we, that we do Winchester Street, at least from Elm Street to 5 Points. That first 32,000 you see.
I agree.
We can commit to that, and then we can commit to,
Number one and number one.
yeah, number one, and the 34,000, so yeah, $69,000, on 7th Street. And we do that. Those two. And in the meantime, Phyllis can check and see what other funds we can possibly utilize, and these funds that we're using now are already there. We don't have to get
Right.
permission from council or anything like that. We can just go ahead and do it.
I think that, I mean, the other 60, I think, I don't know, I have to go back and look at it, but I don't know, if we do everything else that we're planning on doing, and it's just coming out to eat it, I don't know that
There's money left.
There's money left.
Well, and, you know, and we're hiring Christie's Church to do that kind of that study for us, and we'll know more here in another month. But at least we can proceed with this, get that paved, at least from Elm Street to 5 Points.
2 months for a lower.
Yeah, we do have LOIC funds coming in. That's correct.
Yeah, but that, I know. We have to,
For public safety. This is public safety.
it's not, I don't think that's gonna be,
Acceptable.
No.
No, that's fine.
It's
But
kind of,
let's do that. Let's commit to Winchester from Elm Street to 5 Points and 7th Street from Adams to Monroe. And that we have the monies already available for that. And then in the meantime, Phyllis can check, and maybe we'll have a report back from Christie fairly quick, and we can decide what else we want to do then.
I mean, is she actually working on that?
Yeah, we signed the contract, when was that, Phyllis? Last week or 2 weeks ago? And we signed the contract on it. I think she's already sent out some information, I got it, Phyllis got it, about different funds and balances and commitments and things like that, so.
John?
Yeah.
On Winchester Street, does it specify, you know, or does it just say from Elm to 5 Point? You know, like Arnold's and Legion Park,
it's already done.
Adams County Truck Repair, he did his.
Yeah, some of that's already,
So they're just going
some of that's acceptable. We're not gonna take out what's acceptable. Yeah, Arnold Lumber's got a real nice sidewalk there. Legion Park's got a nice sidewalk, so. And I think Eddie put some, or not Eddie, geez, Jay, don't tell Jay I said
On the other
that.
side of the street.
Jay's got some nice ones.
Park that's south of
Yeah,
Elm
yeah,
Street, we put
yeah.
this
I
side.
think that's called West Ward, was that? South Ward? South Ward,
Ward.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's already done, so that's good.
But some of it, they don't replace the sidewalk. The new surface on the street will be
Oh,
much
yeah,
higher
yeah,
than the
right.
sidewalk.
And I think that's why we want to do the sidewalks now, so the asphalt can butt up against the curb of the sidewalk.
I think Jeremy talked about even doing some extra milling in certain areas to bring the level back down, to make it more
Okay?
the way
so
it
we're-
should be.
Is that a Board of Works thing?
Yeah,
That's,
yeah, because
It
the
is?
funding's already in place, it's just us committing that we're
okay.
going to do
I
that.
make a motion that we proceed with the,
I'll accept that, so,
yeah, Winchester and
So
the...
you seconded it and it was
Yeah.
unanimous, is that what you're saying?
yeah.
Okay.
There's only two of us, Tim.
I
so-
know.
We'll be the smart ass. Oh, let's take things on here. So what we just approved then was 10, 12, 9, 6. About $67,000 is what we just approved.
Mhm.
Of seeded funds,
Yeah,
right?
66, 9, 22. One other thing though, I should mention is, this is only one quote to Jeremy got. We need to have a second quote.
Yep.
So Jeremy needs
So
to
it could be less.
get another, it's all, so we know it's gonna be at least this, or could be the maximum here. So. Okay, thank you. Schaefer Building we talked about the sidewalks. Roger, you got a minute? You want to talk about your fee change, or?
I didn't bring any of that.
That's okay. Just generally, here's what Roger wants to do. He's compared our fees for building fees for people coming in and getting a permit. He's compared it with other communities, 3 other communities.
Since we're updating our code books now, we was wanting to update our fees. It hasn't been done for every bit of 10, 12 years. And, so yeah, we got comparisons with Columbia City, Angola, Auburn, ours, and I think the counties. We did throw the counties in
Through
there.
Adams County in too.
Theirs varies a lot because they don't have the subdivisions and things like that, so they're fees like that, but we're just going to try and take the average and get ours boosted up to kind of match everybody else's a little bit. It's not going to be a great number. I mean, like you take a 3,000 square foot house, it might increase our fee from $180 to $220. or something.
Minimal
I mean, commercial ones, it'll bump a little bit more. We're talking about raising the Zoning board fees, we currently only charge $50. Most of the other communities are $250 and on up to, $400, $500. So we're gonna try and get that raised up a little bit.
Okay, that whole process, so Tim, does that have to come for council for approval when it's ready to go?
Well, what's going to happen is Roger is going to make a recommendation to the Planning Commission. Planning Commission is going to review that. We're going to send that into American Legal. And then once that is recommended, council can also review it. If you want to modify it, then we can contact American Legal to revise whatever those figures are. And then when they come back with the final draft of the recodified code,
It's included in
it's
that.
included in that, and then when you adopt it and recodify it, those fees are established.
Now I'll get you a copy of what we kind of got, and then you can kind of
Yeah.
review it, and I'll show you a little bit what we're doing too. I got them laying up here now.
All right, okay.
But I think one of the reasons that Raj was talking about increasing, for example, the BZA fee is the per diems that are paid exceed what they're collecting in the way of a filing fee, and that doesn't account for the publication
We're not
cost.
gone overboard, I don't think. We're still going to be lower than the surrounding communities, but we're going to be pretty even with what the county does, and I think that's important that we kind of go side by side with what the county.
And Roger indicated that the county recently updated their fees, so those are pretty current.
This is a long way off, but wasn't the region's goal to get
Permitting.
permitting? Unified.
And I don't know if it was so much on the fees, was that, Roger? Remember when we did the regional permitting process?
Well, that doesn't really have anything to do with the
I think it was
fees.
more
has
with
to do
the
process.
Yeah, process, yeah.
Of getting everybody kind of on the same page.
And I suspect, Cam, what you would find is from one community to the next, the fees are going to vary depending on the personnel that they have involved. I mean, because that's going to be a big cost that gets factored into that. Our personnel is pretty limited, but you go to some other communities that have a bigger staff or enforcement.
A lot of communities
People.
have a director of planning,
Right.
and then also have a building inspector.
So typically, those fees are going to be higher, I think.
Roger should get
This is what
2
they are
pays,
now,
huh?
Yeah, these are what the other communities are now, and this is what ours, she tried to did examples, not samples, they're supposed to be examples of what a 3,000 square foot house would cost in the green, and then the example of what 10,000 square foot commercial property would be, and things like that. So we just threw something together fairly quickly.
Yeah. As long as these petitions are resigned,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How much?
$1,700.
$1,700 for them to rezone a
Well,
property?
even to vacate alleys, some of them,
Mm-hmm.
you want a petition to vacate, some $500.
Or no, 900 at
Ours
Angola.
Yeah. Yeah,
We're substantially lower than
Right, on
most.
stuff like that we are, but all in all, it's, it's comparable. I mean, you can tell we're, been a few years since we've done it, it needs bumped up a tad, so.
So Roger brought this in front of the Plan Commission. They were going to review it and make a recommendation to
What
us.
they did is they basically asked Roger to go ahead and make a proposal, and then that'll be sent into American Planning, and that proposal will then be reviewed by the Plan Commission and the council, and if you have any reluctance to approve what Roger's proposed, and you can modify it, and we'll notify American Legal, and they can put that in the final draft that comes back to us.
Okay. So this is more just to let you know what's going on than anything else. We don't
Yeah, if you got any
need any
questions,
action on it.
Holler at me.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Hey, I'll say this for last, I don't know how long this is going to take, but I think at the last meeting I informed everybody that Community Corrections was interested on the second floor of this building. And so they have met with the architect. I haven't heard anything back from Martin Riley on how much it would cost to get that to their standards. I guess the main question for discussion is, do we want them up there? Is that something we want up there? Well, there's a couple of things.
good tenant.
Oh, they'd be a good tenant, but they don't get the who's who of Decatur as their clients. I mean, we got some
I guess I'd be more
Those are
interested,
Decatur people.
I know.
I'd be more interested in seeing the cost of having it redone.
Well, and that's the good part of this whole thing. This will give us an idea what it's going to cost to remodel upstairs, you know. When Martin Riley comes back with a number, at least we're going to have something that we know, even if it's not community corrections. It could be, you know, a combination of other offices.
But if we did, I'd want a long-term lease out of it.
Yeah.
Something where we could recover
What do you consider long-term? 10 years or more?
5 to 10 years, yeah. First, we'd have to figure out what our costs are.
Yeah. Sure, and that's why the architect's involved,
And
to give us an idea.
Would it be their board need to approve that kind of
Oh, I would
expenditure,
think so.
or the county commissioners?
I'm not sure, Matt.
But yeah, I would like to see the upstairs used,
Yeah.
and like I say, they're,
Well, we've kind of just discussed other possibilities for using the upstairs too. Other agencies that, you know, we could invite.
There's
you
better
know.
agencies, better served agencies. that
Well,
could-
I mean,
that
and
could-
I just name off a few that
Yeah, complementary to
could,
the city.
and I'm not saying that they got boards they have to answer to too, but Larry Macklin's board, Economic Development, you got the Chamber of Commerce possibly, you know, got Main Street, eventually Main Street, you know, we got,
once we develop it, would they want to rent the whole thing?
no. I think each one of those agencies would have a section of that upstairs.
I think maybe it's worth, you know, I think we've thrown this idea around, and I've talked to former board members of the chamber, just throwing the idea around, but maybe it's worth having an official discussion with them, because if they're not interested, and we can't find anybody for it, then
Yeah, why do it?
Why
Yeah,
not?
yeah, yeah. At this point, really, I think the main thing was to get Martin Wright to give us an idea of what's going to cost, so we'll have that. And it's not permanent, but, you know, it's exact.
When we originally did the plans here, didn't they give us a,
they had an amount.
Did they?
For the second floor also.
Okay.
I thought they did.
Did they? They may, I may have that then. If they had it, I'm sure they gave it to me. I can't remember what it was.
No, who?
Martin
Oh,
Riley.
Martin Riley.
They
I
had
guess-
down here and up
Nate
there.
would know.
You know,
Nate,
from the perspective of,
did we have a cost estimate for the upstairs from Martin Riley?
No.
When we originally were looking at moving over here, weren't we considering taking both floors?
That was when we had an overall cost estimate over $2 million, and when we changed that, we fundamentally changed it downstairs, so we couldn't even subtract our projects,
Hmm.
phase 1 to phase 2.
I think they did though, Nate, they updated things, like the air conditioning unit and all of that. I mean, that's,
It changed quite a bit.
yeah, but that's capable now of handling the upstairs also.
Correct.
So,
So, right now, it's mostly interior space, electrical, some duct work, plumbing work that has to be modified. I mean, there's a significant amount, but we don't have to change the boilers or the
Yeah.
HVAC condensing unit upstairs or on the roof. That's done set up for it, but there's still quite a bit that needs to be done.
Do you have a feeling one way or the other where the chamber would be on this?
no, I don't, I've not said anything to any members on the board.
President.
Yeah.
well, I mean, if you think of trying to coordinate the different players, you know, that get involved in economic development, I mean, if you could centrally locate them, it would probably make sense to try to do that if the parties are interested.
And that's, when we went to Wabash, that's what struck me. Their city hall is an old bank, and their upstairs it's actually their county economic development, their chamber, their Main Street.
Main
group.
Street is there, right.
That's what I'm saying.
All complementing one another.
All in one location. And I think that
Where is that again?
was in Wabash.
And then I was talking to Ron Story, he was saying, where did he come from before?
Michigan City,
And that's where he grew
Well,
up.
start with a B.
I think he went...
Bremen,
He was...
He was in Iowa.
Burlington, Iowa.
He said Burlington, he said they had the exact same thing. Kind of like the economic development arm sitting above their city hall. But, I mean, if the chamber's not interested in...
yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But there was also at one point, the possibility that if the chamber did relocate, that the chamber building itself could then be incorporated into the River Greenway Trail as a trailhead.
There's lots of possibilities. I guess, I just throw this out for discussion. I'm not sure where we're going to go with this, but let's wait until we get Martin Riley back here. We can make the decision. I really just wanted to find out, get your feelings if you mind having community corrections here or not. You know.
Mine?
Yeah, do you mind them being here?
Don't
Probably
mind
not,
it.
but it's most ideal. I guess that's where I come from.
Right. Ditto.
Okay. Okay.
What about the old city hall?
They're not interested.
There's no, they like to have something all on one level and something with an elevator.
They're gonna be 80.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And there's still, the commissioner's idea was to put them in the work release center
Yeah,
of the
exactly.
jail.
Yeah.
Once
You
the
you
new
guys,
jail's
Bill's
going.
very familiar with that building, but there's a separate building right behind the jail towards the river that's standalone. It's not part of the jail, it's on its own.
Whose decision, who controls community corrections? Is it a separate board?
Yes. You set that board there.
Yeah, Matt and I
Mayor
are
and
both
I
on that.
do.
But I mean, is it funded through the county, or is it, has it own
There's some
funding
money
source?
comes
The county
from the
picks
county.
up the employee's insurance, right, Matt?
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
Department of Corrections pays the wages.
Yeah.
They pay, who pays the rent? I don't know.
It's part of
I
the
think it's part of
user
that
fees.
grant and.
Part of the grant and the
user
user
fees.
But this is all of the
Project
Department of
income.
Corrections.
Yeah, right,
You know.
right. And they change their rules every year.
Well, all I'm saying is, you know, if the county is footing the bill, then the county probably has some say in what they hold them
It
accountable.
seems to me they do, because every time they have a change in employees, they always have to go to the county and get
Yeah.
permission to fill that.
And when it started
that
out,
position.
someone in the county told them, you're in the basement of the courthouse. Then they went to a portion of Star Insurance. Then they went to the whole thing, of the whole floor, second story of Star Insurance.
And that's gonna
It wasn't-
continue to...
And part of the first one.
But it wasn't the board that said that's okay, that was the county.
So is the county commissioners the one that are authorizing them to look upstairs?
I think it'd be wise for us to ask Ian
Ian,
that,
clarify.
who's got the final approval on that?
That's what,
Ian.
well, I'm just saying, before you go too far down this path, you better make sure that,
Well, we're just gonna get an estimate of what it costs.
I'd like to have the
And I'm
estimate
good
anyhow,
with that.
really. I'd like to have that estimate no matter what happens. It gives us an idea how much it's gonna cost to redo that.
From the city's standpoint, I'd love to see something going on up there in the next couple of years. You know, not wait 10 years to,
I would too, something that pays rent.
yeah.
Okay, I mean, I don't want to have the taxpayers put several more, many thousands of dollars up there and not receive, some type of income back on it. And with community corrections, we have an opportunity to have an income versus just an expenditure.
That's right.
Off the subject just a little bit, but now that we've been in here for a couple of months, Phyllis, what's it cost to heat this place as compared to our old city hall?
Not sure.
I think that's a good question. I think Phyllis could maybe go back and compare.
get you-
We've been here a few months,
Yeah.
a couple months, so I don't know if we got enough information yet. I think we probably need to be here about 6 months before we can actually.
The temperature outside compared to...
Chief's got his hand up.
Chief Cook?
Jim and I were talking, would you not want possibly a couple, or a lease, a few years lease before you go?
Oh, yeah. So as Bill said, a minimum of 5 to 10 years, a minimum. So, but again, I think that's a good point that, hey, maybe Ian doesn't have the authority to do this, and maybe
I
he
think
feels
he's trying to
that.
get some numbers to present, is where I think he...
Yeah. All right. We'll take it, but I appreciate your guidance on it. So.
But Tim and I both agree that as long as that project is there, it's gonna continue to expand.
Well, what-
Would you agree, Tim?
Well, I think the state took all the felons that are low-level felons?
Well, with
That's
those-
the right term?
Yeah, with
And they
everything that's
shipped it
been,
back locally instead of sending those low felons to,
And
Alternative programs.
yeah.
Ian has
They don't
prepared
want
him
them,
as a
they don't
bullet.
want to put them in a correctional facility, but run by the state.
But the state did recognize the need, and they approved money for how many new pods? They call them pods.
right,
I know there's going to be 2 new pods over at Grissom.
What's a pod?
800, if it holds 800 inmates, whatever a pod is.
I'd say it's a wing or something
Yeah,
over the
wing, they call
existing
it
prison.
pod.
Yeah.
But-
Right, that's good. Gives us something to go by. That's really all I have, so if you want to discuss it further, that's fine. Jeremy, I did want to tell you, we accepted all of the equipment rental, the material bids that you got for the street department. We accepted them all. Is that different than what you wanted?
No.
Okay.
John, haven't had any correspondence with
Great.
Craig's?
I have not, since the last meeting.
I think it was,
I do know somebody was interested in that house.
where they going to approach?
They were, I guess I could tell you that the owners of that property are getting appraisals. So that's a step
That's a good thing.
forward, that's more than what they ever had before.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
So I saw him outside, I think it was Saturday or something.
Does he live there? Does George live there?
He's there,
Okay,
yeah.
I didn't think he lived
He
there.
was out there just like his dad used to be, down on his hands and knees, working in the soil.
Taking care of the flower beds, and the whole house is falling down around him. Okay.
Speaking of John on a different subject matter,
Go ahead.
on First Street, the Schaefer Building, we have discussed at various times, our First Street for that development at First Street. And I think we need to address, are we going to start any acquisition of some of those vacant properties, some of those rundown properties? I mean, we really haven't moved forward with anything there. And pretty soon we'll be at the 5 years again where we're going to review our
Yeah.
plan, and we're going to look in the mirror and say, wow, what did we do for the
Didn't we
last
approve
5
something,
years?
Tim?
approve what?
Some monies to move forward on that, on some of those properties? On First?
I don't think so.
No.
We did not?
I think we wanted to use TIF money, and we didn't have
Oh,
it.
we don't have any TIF money.
So,
We still got that vacant lot down there before someone else buys it,
Yeah.
and then we got those apartments. I mean, there's some
I-
small steps we can make.
Yeah.
I know the redevelopment commission's trying to acquire some of those,
We did something.
but until we can get started, we haven't been able to do it.
Another question, if we've got time.
Did,
Miller's Floors and More is now for
did we
sale.
talk about,
How do we assure whoever
Like
buys
setting
it
aside
isn't just going to let it continue to deteriorate?
Miller's Floors and More, I understand that there's a closing coming up on that building within the next 2 weeks.
Somebody's already,
Somebody's bought it.
any idea what they're going to do with it?
seems like we talked
Not
about
sure.
something. I'm not sure.
I mean, is there any way
I have to go back and
for
look.
the city how do we avoid ever having a Schaefer building again? I guess. Somebody buying it that has no real intentions of fixing something up.
Well, we
and
had the
then
same
turns
thing
into-
across the street there with Dwayne Sweeper's shop, same thing.
Somebody bought.
Yeah. That's what the realtor told me.
And good.
Hmm.
But I guess it's in bad shape the way it is.
I don't know how you
terrible
prevent-
shape in 3 years.
I don't know how you prevent someone from letting the property run down, Dwayne Sweeper's shop, that, he just let it go.
You can't.
Same with Schaefer's.
You move down to a real nice neighborhood, what if one of them just decides, I'm not ever going to put any maintenance in this place?
20 years.
I don't know how you avoid that.
Craigwood was the nice place 20 years ago.
How do you avoid that? There's nothing legal with
There's
it.
not a whole lot you can do until it becomes an unsafe structure, then you can, or a public nuisance, in which case then you
Deteriorated to
can do
the
it.
point that.
Yeah. Then you have to do something. You
Comes
can
a safety
force them to
issue.
do
Right.
something.
But in between,
Exactly.
you can always buy it.
There was a big gas leak between the jewelry store and the Schaefer building this week that was pinpointed to the Schaefer building, but our new nice alley.
Cut up?
Not new nice, man. They fixed it, but
Oh, yeah. Want to adjourn, Kenny? I don't think we have any other...
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Problem solved, right there.
Mercer Avenue. Did you ask anyone about Mercer?
Yeah.